So what we're going to talk about today is sales tax, and it is a thing that for many people can be very scary. It's scary for most people, okay? And it's kind of confusing. You see all sorts of different rates going on. The state has a rate, the county has a rate, the city has a rate, the ambulance district, the library, the parks, and all of it just kind of adds on. So every place in Missouri has a different sales tax. So all that comes up to be, oh my gosh, I just cannot do it. But as starting out your business, we encourage people to think about the end. Where are you going? You might just be making a few things right now, you know, maybe selling $100 a year and think this doesn't pertain to me. But it does. And we want you to plan with where you are going with your growth. And if you avoid things at the beginning, they just kind of compound. So it's not much, you know, your sales tax, if you're only doing $100 in a year, that's only $8. It's not a big deal to worry about. Take it to $100,000 in sales, 3 years overdue, and it's a horrible thing to have to worry about. So we want you to be successful from the beginning. I'm going to show you some different resources today, almost all from the Department of Revenue in Missouri. I would encourage people to look through these different links, and we'll send you a Word document that has all of the links in there. But click through and, you know, explore. Is everybody, do you all try to do things online, or are you paper people? Online. Okay. Your process being online with your sales tax return is going to save you a lot of time and a lot of headache, because once you are registered for the sales tax, a lot of that stuff will pre-populate and prefigure for you. So you can go to your account, you know, click it up, and you can see what's due and when, and it's going to be there for you. If you're doing it on paper, you're just creating a lot of work for yourself. So, okay, so let's talk about what is, I'm going to probably use my computer and this computer when it's actually sitting on here. So this website is dor.mo.gov. That's basically all things for this. So what is subject to sales tax in Missouri? It's all sales of the tangible personal property are taxable unless there's a specific statutory exemption. All sales of services listed as taxable in the section that's given up there, including telephone, telegraph services, are subject to tax. So, and there are different tax rates too. So, food that you would buy at a grocery store, a lot of that is taxed at a much lower rate. If you're serving food at an event, it's going to be taxed at the regular rate. So I'll answer that right up front. You'll see sales tax and you'll see use tax. And sales tax is what you will collect from your buyer and file a return and pay on it. Use on this. Now, do I have to pay sales tax? Okay, I'm just doing a hobby. See that? Do I have to collect sales tax? This is just a hobby. Okay, yes, you do. Okay, that's the short answer. And something that I learned in this, okay, in preparing for it, that if you are 65 or older or have a spouse and the income from the sale of handcrafted items does not constitute more than 50% of your annual income, then you can avoid that by filling out a special form that they have online. So But yes, you have to collect it, and it is based on where you sell it. Okay, so there is this handy dandy little chart. Rather than having to figure out, you know, looking through this whole Excel spreadsheet or whatever, where am I? They have on the Department of Revenue site, you can put in the street address and it will tell you what you should be collecting there. So someone, if you could give me a street address.
How about the business loop? 14 East Business Loop.
14 East. And that's in Columbia.
That's 65203.
Okay, and also you'll notice there's a transaction date on here because these sales tax rates change. That's another thing. So we're going to leave it today's transaction date. I'm going to say I'm not a robot. And something that I did earlier was I got excited and just pressed clear and it didn't do anything for me. So I'm going to press search. Okay, and so what you'll see there is that rate is going to be 7.975 for that. And it will, you can go on farther down and see how that is broken down in by the state rate, the county rate, Columbia's rate.
I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So since a lot of us do pop-ups and stuff, do we have to enter in the pop-up address?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, the exception to that is if you're doing a pop-up, yes, it's the address where you're at and selling it. If you're taking an order that you're going to make and then send out from your business address later on, you're going to use that business address as the sales tax. Okay, yours.
You know, we have a sheet that says all the major taxing districts here in Columbia. We'll provide that to everyone along with some documents you have so that you can beforehand have a good sense of where special taxing districts are, so you're kind of thinking about that ahead of time.
Okay.
So we'll make that available to everyone.
Because literally one block away
Yeah.
can be another rate. I want to give you a few benefits of, I know there's hesitancy sometimes to, you know, do I really want to do this sales tax? Am I really a business? Can I just avoid it? You know, and no, you should not avoid it. But some benefits of getting your sales tax license is you can buy things that you are using in your product for resale tax exempt. You'll get, once you file for your resale tax certificate, you will get a certificate. And you know, if you need flour from Walmart, okay, for something, or you're buying fabric from Joann's or someplace else that's going to be used in your product, then you'll be able to present your certificate, and then they will not charge you tax on that. But they have to get that certificate from you in order to do that process. Some other benefits from Joann's, if you don't know about that, you know, if you've got that resale certificate, you know, they have a different set of discounts for business owners.
There'll be any like questions?
If it is a zero tax return,
Yeah.
then there's nothing. Okay.
So like if they said, oh, you owe $500 in sales tax, you're like, hey, I actually didn't work because.
I didn't have any sales during
Yeah.
this period.
Yeah.
And it is just a matter of about 5 minutes,
Okay.
you know, including firing up the computer to file that zero tax return.
Yeah, so you still have to file the form. Like
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you did have sales, you just
And
filed
if you don't have the money, file the return. You know, just get that part done to avoid some of the
So if you file a
penalties.
commission for 4 months, you know, try to file a return each month and just say 0 sales. So they know you're keeping.
And is all that filing done through your portal that you
It is.
have?
Mhm.
Okay.
Or you can do the old-fashioned paper way.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I was talking to somebody, and about this, and I said, what would you say, that people might need to know? Well, they're doing okay with their sales, and they said that they can change that annual thing that I told you about, the $500. Well, they changed this person to a monthly. They had been filing quarterly all along, and so they changed them to a monthly.
And that was based on how well they were doing?
It was based on their previous returns of the $500 in state sales tax, so more than 11,000 of taxable sales each month. And they went in to do their quarterly, and they're a paper filer, okay? So this is a problem. But they're a paper filer, and so they filed their quarterly, they filed the next quarterly, and then they get a letter. They should have been filing monthly for all of these months, and then so they had to go back. They had accumulated all of these extra 5% a month on every one of those months, plus penalty, because they didn't use the online portal. If you go into your account, you can see what returns are open and what need to be filed. So I just, more than anything, I'd stress, use that online portal.
And you typically you're saying don't get notified if you get switched?
You just get a standard letter. If it gets delivered to the wrong P.O. box, or in somebody else's mailbox, you might not ever see it until you owe a lot of money later on. So online, great thing to do. So
I have we have a few new people in here I know from our kitchen who are just now starting out as a business, and they're gonna need to get started on this stuff, because like with June being the month of that the city of Columbia is asking everybody to get their business licenses renewed. You have to have a receipt of no tax due. Are you gonna talk about that, because that's important for a lot of our new clients who don't know that?
yes, and there is, I don't have it pulled up. I will include that as a place to go. That was no tax due. For a lot of the grants that happened earlier on through the state of Missouri, you had to provide this no tax due license. It's a pretty simple thing to get, but I will have that link on there, so thank you for bringing that up.
And that's through the Department
That
of
is-
Revenue website.
Yeah, that is through
It
the
is.
department.
It's a form. It's like
Yes.
5522, I believe, that you have to fill out and send them to the Department of Revenue in order to get that no tax due, to get your business licenses renewed.
Yeah. So, and they also, on things that you can find on the Department of Revenue site, you can find the businesses that have not paid their sales tax. So if you want your name broadcast up there, that's that's a way to do that. So another thing that I want to just caution everybody on, the Department of the IRS, there is a great fear of the IRS and messing up with the IRS and crossing. The IRS is much easier to work with to try to settle things out than what the Missouri Department of Revenue is. They are right, okay, and they have the authority, and you may be right, but you get an attorney, and in a lot of instances they can say, I can win this case, but my legal fees are going to cost you more than what it is to pay it. So it's a don't mess with them. I don't know if that should be on the YouTube thing or not, but I mean they are serious business. So, file when you're supposed to file. If you have trouble paying it, contact them, make a paper trail, but file.
I find that I've had to call them a couple of times. They're a lot easier to get a hold of than the IRS. You can actually get a hold of a representative fairly easily in Jeff City when you do call there and you have questions or anything. You can
And-
always ask somebody there.
And something to remember when you're calling. the same way you do an email paper trail or a hard copy paper trail, take notes, who did you talk to,
Mhm.
what was the date, what they said, and keep that in your taxes file, because you will, I would guarantee you have to go back to that and say, this person told me this on this date, and that's just, start doing that as a matter of course.
Mhm. And I would say, okay, I have this visual, okay, do not stick your head in the sand and think that it's going to go away, okay? Because when you're sticking your head in the sand, somebody's going to kick you in the butt and you're going to fall over, and it's going to be a lot worse than if you just faced
You
it
really
head on.
can't, because of the laws with
Yeah.
getting your business licenses renewed, you have to have that no tax due. It's not something you can fake.
So-
You gotta like have that piece of paper, so, they do work with you. I am one of those people who stuck their heads in the sand.
Mhm.
So they do work with you. If you are back on your back taxes, they will work with you and let you pay monthly, and then still be able to give you that no tax due, so
Mhm.
that you can still get your business licenses renewed. But that was, this was all, I thought, because I was a small business, I didn't really need to do something like this, and it's not true.
Did you have to pay penalties then, even if you weren't like set up? How does that
No,
work?
as long as I paid my, on time, I didn't get penalized for anything. There was like that initial penalty of like a couple of dollars. It was like a few $1,000s I was behind on in taxes.
Mhm.
And there wasn't much of a fee, but they did work with me and let me make payments on that. So, if anybody in here, needs to know that, they are very easy to work with, and you can still continue your business even if you've made mistakes, so.
But don't think they're going to just go away if you ignore them.
They don't go away.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't go away.
So, and it's just, just like a banking arrangement, if you're having trouble, a dialogue is much better than ignoring. Would you say?
Yeah, I'd like to add one other thing was like, so like with last year and the years previous, I used Venmo, Cash App, a lot of these online services. They had a $20,000 limit where the IRS wasn't going to come at you, but now this year they've changed it to $200.
Mhm.
So anything over $200 on your Venmo or anything, they're going to question where you got that money and what that money was used for.
Mhm.
So
Things have to
that's
all
a
match.
Big jump from 20,000 to 200 to be able to show your money. Before I could kind of get away with it a little bit. I'm just going to put that out there. But
Yeah.
now you really have to be diligent with your taxes now. It's the IRS that's going to come for you too. It's not the Missouri Department.
And another benefit to this, and I know you listed some benefits, is that if you're tracking your sales tax, that means you're also tracking your sales, right? So it's going to kind of force you into this benchmarking, so you'll know, like, what are your best months? What are your worst months? Like, what
What are
months
the
do-
best events?
Absolutely,
What events were worthwhile based
yes.
on how much you sold, what the cost to be
Yes.
there was.
and the year over year comparison. How was my June compared to last June?
Mhm.
Absolutely. So it'll help you benchmark that and make better business decisions. Simply because you're doing what the law requires, you get this little added benefit that you now understand your business better than you might have before.
The more you understand your numbers, it's always better in the long run for your business, always.
So I want to go to like a common practice that I've seen at events is you have a $10 item. I'm gonna give my customer a deal. I'm gonna make it easy for them. I'm just gonna sell it for $10 and the taxes included. Okay. I, as the consumer, not a credit card carrying consumer, okay. I expect to pay sales tax. What you are doing right there's a couple of different things, but what you are doing right there is you are taking away, let's say that rate comes up to be 8%. Out of that $10 sale, you're giving 80 cents away, okay? That adds up really, really fast.
Just remember, your customers pay your sales tax,
Not you.
not you. You have to report and do reporting and send off the money and all that, but that's coming from your customers. So,
And especially coming from somebody who organizes like the maker markets, they come to support you. They come to support local. They're there so they're not spending their money at a chain. So keep that in mind too, like you're not gonna scare them away by charging them just a little bit extra. That's why they're there, is to support you guys.
People expect to pay sales tax generally.
I think folks that generally support local will sometimes know that there might be a premium involved with that particular good or service because it's probably better quality. So yeah, don't be afraid to charge what you're worth.
So the other part of this is, you know, how that's reported. It will ask you to report your gross sales, your gross taxable sales. So, you know, technically it was $9 and something if you're adding the tax. If you're saying this is my item, this is my tax, and it comes to $10. Well, this is, I'm going to say $9.60, okay, because it's nice and round. So your sale was $9.60, not $10. But if you report it as $10, you're going to pay 80 cents. You're going to pay on the $10, not the $9 and something that was. So if you multiply that out over a lot of sales, it makes a big difference that it's money you're just giving away. And you know, there is some wisdom if you're just doing a cash sale. It might be easier for the customer, for you to just deal in dollars and not pennies.
Yeah.
Okay, there is wisdom because you do have some loss sometimes because people can't do change or whatever reason, and it's easier for everybody. So in that all cash sales, you know, if you make that decision to stick the total at this even dollar amount, make sure that you are figuring what the actual sale was and not the sale is the total. 100% to it.
So you're saying when you get the figure to report to Department of Revenue. So if you're charging $10, which is easy, you should know that you have to, it could be a $9 price normally. You're adding the extra dollar to deal with sales tax and so forth. So you know that you want to be reporting the lower amount, not the full $10. And to get that,
you'll use this formula.
You use this formula, right?
And I will
That's
stick.
basically, yeah. So that's basically what she's saying is that when you're pricing your product for a easy, quick cash sale, make sure that you've accounted for all the sales tax that will be owed, and that accounting is reflected when you report it. You're not reporting the $10, you're reporting the lower amount.
Because it will make a big difference. So.
I do a lot of deliveries when I do wedding cakes and stuff, and I don't ever tax like a delivery fee, and I usually leave that out of the taxes. Is that but that's still income for me because sometimes I have to deliver all the way to St. Louis, and so it's like a $200 delivery.
Okay.
To, or whatever.
On this industry guideline, separately stated delivery of prepared meal where delivery charge is usual and customary is exempt.
It is exempt.
Yeah.
So I will write that.
Okay.
Right?
Thank goodness.
So.
Here's a question about special taxing districts. So there are many special taxing districts here in Columbia. The business loop is one. We use that added tax we put it back in the street. We build the commercial kitchen, we do advertising, we do banners and things like that. There's a special taxing district downtown. There's a special taxing district around all the Walmarts and at the mall. So there's a whole list, and I can get that list to everyone. But so you need to know if you're doing Orr Street Farmers Market, that's a special tax district, but the Columbia Farmers Market is not in a special tax district. So we understand this gets a little bit complex for folks. Here's a question about the kitchen. We have people who cook in the kitchen, but then they might take their food to the farmer's market and sell it. Or they might cook in the kitchen and then deliver a cake to St. Louis. So how does the special tax district play into that?
So where sold, I mean, the farmer's market, you're going there to make the sales. That's where you tax from.
So it's where you make the sale.
Yeah.
So if you're a caterer, working out of the kitchen, is the point of sale, the destination that you're catering?
That's a good question.
Or is
That
that
is a good
something to
question.
go online? So those are, yeah.
I'll have to review those notes on
Right,
that.
so we might follow up with you so
Yeah.
that we have a better
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that
answer
either.
for our clients.
Wouldn't that be like a commercial, like where they can the beans, like, you know, wherever Libby's factory is, you pay the they get the wholesale and then pay the tax.
So, right, so there's production as well. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of different types of food preparation or production or manufacturing.
Mhm.
So I think we might make an appointment with you folks so that we have better answers for our clients.
And if you've got something really complex, if you write it in advance, we'll be able to give you a better answer. It'll allow us time to research it, to see, you know, if we need to refer it to somebody, if we can find the answer. It just helps save time for everybody involved, because I know you guys are busy, and you know it.
So I went to the Department of Revenue website and found like the list of taxable services.
Mhm.
Do they have a similar list of non-taxable services? Because as far as I know, nearly everything I do is non-taxable. I do freelance photography and I sell digital files created in the course of that.
And do you sell a physical product?
I do sell physical products, but I'm selling them through
They're
Lewis Professional Imaging, and they do calculate
They're
the
taking care of
taxes.
it. So you're doing a wholesale sale to them, and they take care of the taxes. Yeah.
The end client
Pays
pays
them.
sales tax when they order the product. It gets added on and is
Yeah.
calculated and kept separately.
Yeah.
But like the vast majority of my business is photography service and digital files.
Okay.
I'm actually writing.
It's a digital file product.
Well,
Yeah.
I've been told that that's not a taxable thing.
Okay.
That's what my accountant said, so I believe them.
So-
And then the other thing I'm in, real quick, the other thing I'm in the middle of is I'm halfway through building a set of custom shelves for
Mhm.
someone. They're buying all the end product themselves. I'm not like buying it and reselling it. So is that service something I need to add tax upon? Because I'm just doing,
let
doing
me
the labor there.
let me look at that, because I imagine you're using some things like nails and, you know, stuff that you're doing too. So yeah, let me check on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
We'll make sure that you guys get their email addresses or however you want them to contact the SBDC.
Yeah.
Best way to contact.
Yeah. There is a sign up. Okay, so right here on the bottom of my business card, it's just MissouriSBDC.org is our website. And we are the Columbia Center at MU. So if you click on there, we'll get a message, and then we'll contact you from there. It'll ask you about, you're essentially signing up for services on
Okay.
that. So
Not a whole lot more than name, address, and phone number.
yeah.
So the short is you go to their website, you sign up on the website, and then
Mhm.
it'll get into their system
It pings us and then we reach out.
Yeah.
And sets
Yeah.
up a meeting.
rather than emailing them personally.
Yeah, well, you
Right.
can do that too, but we would prefer that.
Questions?
Yeah, we would prefer that you go in and sign up. That way, we have a record of it. Our services are free. I don't know if I said it. We're confidential. That's part of our agreement. We're funded mostly by the SBA, and so what you say to us is confidential. Unless you want us to contact Mark for you to do a loan, you know, we'll ask permission for that. But we don't want anybody to know your business.